Hey guys, welcome to episode 3. We're gonna go over in this episode just your pen tool plus image trace, okay? We're gonna touch on brushes, but not too much, okay? This is just the basics. If you guys haven't watched episode 2 or 1, I suggest doing that first of all, because this is assuming that you guys know a little bit of what I already covered on the other ones. All right, so we're just gonna get started with this. So first of all, we're gonna go in and import an image. So right here we have an image, and right here you guys can see I sketched out a kitty. So it's a PNG, doesn't matter if it's a JPEG. We can just drag and drop that into our artboard right here in Illustrator. So there's our kitty. So just because we imported an image right here doesn't make it vector, okay? It's still just a JPEG or PNG in this case. So that means it's rasterized. That means when we zoom in, you guys will start to see these pixels forming up, right? So what we want to do is make this vector, and that way we can do this several ways, okay? So most of you, if you sketch something out, you guys will be using your pen tool to trace it, right? So the reason why I didn't cover pen tool in my first episode, for example, is because people overuse pen tool. And you guys should be using your shapes, especially in Illustrator, because most of the stuff that you guys will be working on, yes, they will be simplified and not sketches like this. However, if you want a sketch like this, sure, you guys can go ahead and use a brush. So yes, you guys can do that. It depends what you guys want to do. For most of the work that I've seen people want to do, they want to simplify things. So you guys should be messing around with your shapes and your pathfinder, which I already covered in our last episode, right? So this episode, we're gonna cover just your basics on your pen tool. And later on, more advanced, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit more tricks on this. So here's our pen tool. Now, if you guys want to trace this, sure, we can start with the eyes. So let's just start with the eyes. So if you guys just drag something here, if you hold, okay, just hold your mouse until you guys can draw this out. So just drag this out until you guys get that shape. You guys can continue on, click right here, get that shape, then just drag it. Click here, hold your click, drag it, there you go, and then you guys can meet up your point right there. What we want to do right here on the left hand side, you guys will see this, just click here for now, okay? So we have a fill of white, so if I zoom out, you guys can see that. I want that transparent, so I'm just gonna click right here on none, and I just want this outline. And I'm gonna make my outline a different color, just so I can see what's happening. So I'm just gonna choose orange for now. There we go. I'm gonna leave that thickness as is for now. We can change that later on. Now something that's gonna get in your way is this X that's forming up, and you might click on the image instead of the artboard itself. So what you guys want to do is lock this image. So just press Command 2. Whether you click anywhere on this image, it's locked. To unlock it, just press Command, Option, or Alt 2. to unlock that. So right now I can move that image around, as you guys can see. And to lock that image, I can just press Command 2 on your keyboard. Let's just zoom in. And some of you will see that this right here is not a perfect drawing, right? Because we have this right here that's happening. Maybe you guys don't want that. Most of you won't. That's why I usually tell people, just use the shape tool. But if we have to use the pen tool, in this case, we're just gonna move this aside so you guys can see what's gonna happen. So what we're gonna do is simplify this, or we can smooth it out as well. So right here on the side, you guys will see pen and then curve tool. Okay, with our curve tool, we can actually modify this a little bit. Okay, we can modify it as much as you guys want to make that curve different. Okay, so we could move this up here, we can move that up there, and we can fix that up. That's one way. All right, so let me just go back on this. There we go. So that's one way. All right, so that's our curvature tool right here. Again. Now there's another way to simplify this. If we go into Object, under Object, if you guys go into Path and then right here, Simplify. So again, I'm going into Object up here. I'm going all the way down where it says Path. Then I'm going to Simplify. Under Simplify, you guys will see this window that comes up. We're gonna have to click on Preview, so make sure it's on Preview. Unclick this if you have straight lines turned on. And right here, you guys will see that you guys can mess around with this in order to fix your lines. So in this case, it's not a huge thing that we have to fix. So it's not a huge deal at the moment. However, once you guys get more stuff in here, more lines happening and everything, this might help you guys out. And now let's say you guys change your minds. You guys want to make those really cool graphics that's all straight lines. Right here, you guys will see this straight lines, and we just turn that into a straight line. So obviously this doesn't look that great right now, but the more stuff that we have, the more details, this could work out. So that's just a trick. So if you guys see an illustration done with straight lines, it's not 100% that they did it with straight lines. They may have used this simplified to make those straight lines. Anyways, we're just gonna leave that as okay for now. I'm gonna make this stroke a little bit heavier so you guys can see the edits I'm gonna do right now, because it's very important. So yes, we're just tracing this eye once again, but I want to show you guys what else you guys can do in order to fix whatever lines you guys make with the pen tool. So if you guys right click on the pen tool, right here, you guys will see this anchor point. So if we select that, we can select this anchor point, for example, right here, and we can move that around in order to make it a little bit more smooth. So let's say I move it around there, so that way it's a little bit more smooth. Again, that's just another way to do this. You guys can mess around with any anchor points and move them around as much as you want, as you guys can see. All right, so if you guys need to edit anything, that's another way of doing it. Now I do have to highlight, if you guys don't see some of these options on the side, it's okay. If you guys scroll down, you guys will see these 3 dots down here below. So you guys can edit your toolbar. If you guys click right there, you guys can edit any one of these to appear there. Okay, so you guys could have all this. You guys can show more, show less. So you guys can scroll through and just select what you guys want in your toolbar. So if you are missing anything that I'm showing you guys, here's where you guys would go. Also, right now, if you guys are in Essentials, like I am, so if you go to Window, Workspace, Essentials, you guys will be missing something that I'm not sure why it's not default, but it should be, and it's up here. We should see some stuff up here, and for that we need to go into Window and Control. So you guys will see that all this appeared right now, and this is actually very important. Again, I'm not sure why it's not a default. It should be, because you guys will see other options. Let me just take this curvature here, and you guys will see all these options here. So you guys can do a lot from here. You guys can mess around with your opacity, your stroke, your color, everything from up here. So it's really important to have that control up and running. Now I'm gonna choose our pen tool again. So right here, I'm choosing our pen tool. All right, we're just gonna scroll here. I'm gonna put this on the side. There we go. I'm just gonna trace this here, very, very rough. So if you guys click away, there's all these straight lines that are happening. When you guys hold the click, okay, and you drag it out, you guys can do these things happening that I already showed you with that. But it's not a huge deal if you guys just want to click away and click away and click away, because later on what we can do is make all these lines a little bit smoother. Okay, so we're just highlighting everything, just very, very rough around the head. I'm going to show you how to fix a lot of mistakes that you guys will see that are happening as I'm tracing this. Alright, so let's say we're done and maybe we need to edit everything because you guys can see we don't want all these straight lines happening. So we can just right click, we can mess with our anchor points, sure, but I want to show you something else. Right here we have our selection tool, right here we have our direct selection tool. So with our selection tool, we can move this whole shape around. So if you guys click on it, you guys can drag it and move it around. So here's our direct selection tool. If you guys do that, you guys will see all this. So once all these come up, you guys can mess around with these to make them more curved. So see how I did it for that one part and he made everything curved? So you guys can see all those straight lines that I just made them all curved just with one click basically. So if I click here again, I'm going to show you again. So I'm picking this direct selection tool and these guys pop up. So I can move this around. I can make it less curved, or straight lines like they were, or again, there we go. Okay, so you guys could do that as well. And that's the fast way to make all these nice and curved. Now there are basic things that I'm not going over too much. Right here with our pen tool, so I'm gonna go back to our pen tool. What you guys could also do, all right, you guys can minus and plus points on this, okay? So we can add and take away. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what's happening. So right here, if I click on any one of these with the pen tool, it's gonna ask me if I want to take it away. So if I made a mistake anywhere, I can just click on that point and take that point away. I can also add points just by clicking anywhere along the line and adding those points. Why are adding those points important? It's because we might need to add those points in order to add more detail. Of course, the less points you guys have, it's usually the better. So if I just added those points, I can always go back. And then right here on our anchor point tool, I can just take that point that I just created and shift it around if I need those details. Of course, to always go back, we just press Command Z and we go back, which is very, very important. Now let's say you guys are nearly done and you guys want to put everything together. Well, one way to do this, you guys can select this, for example, because right now if I click on this, this moves away by itself, right? And I want everything to move together. I can just select this path, okay? Then I can just press Shift and then click on this other one. So I have them both selected, or I can always just drag and select everything. So right now both paths are selected. I can press Command G, which is gonna group everything. Once everything's grouped with Command the letter G, I can just move everything around. So you guys can see both paths are moving around together. If I want to ungroup these two paths, I can just press Command Shift G. So let me just click right here. And if I press Command Shift G, it's gonna ungroup things. So if I press here and I drag this away, this other path is gonna stay behind. At this point, I'm just gonna take all this and delete it because I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna show you brushes. So right here, we have brushes on the side. And if you guys select that, yes, that's another tool that you guys might use a lot actually if you guys want to do something like this kitty. So if I want it to look like a sketch, I would probably use my brush. Okay, and there's different widths and I can mess around with it so much. So you guys keep drawing, you guys will see that automatically makes those lines nice and smooth. Now let's say you guys messed up and you guys made this line way too long up here and then you guys joined it up with this one right here and you guys want to get rid of this extra line. One way to get rid of that line, yes, sure. You guys could go to the eraser tool, so we can just click right there and just erase this up to the point that we want. But sometimes that doesn't join things up and you guys will see this type of thing happening. You may not want that, right? So I'm just gonna go back and show you guys another way. So right here on your toolbar, you guys will scroll down and you guys will see these three dots, right? And we're gonna see our join tool right here. So before we select our join tool, I want you guys to go up here on all tools and we will see this. So up here, if you guys click up here, you guys will see advanced and basic. At this point, we're gonna click on advanced. Okay, you guys will see that your toolbar just got a little bit bigger, right? So we have more stuff. And here's our join tool. And that's exactly what we want. So if we right click here, we're gonna see all these other options, which will help us out later on. I'm gonna show you. So we're gonna check out the join tool for now. And right here, if we highlight this, you guys will see that it brought the two paths together. And right now, it's just one path. So if I click on it, you guys will see that yes, it's in fact one path, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. So let me just show you one more thing right now that we're in advanced. And let's say you guys did something like so. Let's say you guys did something with a pen tool. So there will be some points that you guys may want to edit. And again, there's so many ways to edit this thing, but I want to show you this one because I used to use it a lot. So under our join tool, if you guys right click, you guys will see all these options. Now our smooth tool, it's gonna smooth out some of our things. So So once we select our smooth tool, we can just go over this and just draw this out. And you guys will see that it changes how things curve out. So this actually is really useful for some parts that may not be as smooth as you guys want. And it's just gonna smooth things out. Now, it doesn't always work perfectly, but it does work quite well. And again, you guys don't have to be that precise. I can just go over the line, click on the line, stretch this out, drag this out, and it's gonna simplify our line a little bit, smooth it out, and it's really great for that. So if you guys made a bunch of anchor points, you guys want to lose some of those, this is actually one of the ways you guys can do that, and it simplifies things pretty well. So it does a pretty good job. So that's one of the main things that you guys should know about when you're messing around with this, okay? Our smooth tool. So that's enough about the pen tool and brushes. Let's say you guys want to trace this exactly as is and keep it exactly what you see here. What you guys want to do is make this vector, right? Since it's a JPEG or a PNG, well, it's quite easy actually, and we can do this really, really fast. So first thing, let's unlock this by pressing Command Option 2 or Command Alt 2, works the same. And we're just gonna move this on the side. You guys will see up here, image trace. If you guys don't see it there, don't worry about it. Just go into Object, that's up here. You're gonna scroll down where it says Image Trace and then Make. All right, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna click on Make, and you guys will see this come up. So I'm gonna press OK for now. And right now, it's gonna make this image into vector work. Right now, without you guys even knowing it, it's already vector. If you guys click on expand right now, so up here you guys will see expand, it has become vector work. It's no longer an image, okay? So it's not rasterized image, it's not a PNG, it's not a JPEG anymore. How do I know that? All these points are already vector. So if I ungroup this, sometimes it groups up if there's a lot of things there. So again, that's just Command Shift G, I ungroup this. Now this is also masked sometimes. So you guys will see this like square coming up that's grouping everything together. So that's just Command Option 7. So at this point, if I click here, I will see the square. I can just press delete, and I'm just deleting that kind of background. And if I want to edit any of these points, you guys will see that they're actually shapes. So see this? They're actually shapes. I can edit this with my pen tool as well. So you guys can see that these are all anchor points. So I can move these around just like I showed you before. There's so many ways to edit this stuff. I can edit my anchor point right now because again, there are anchor points right now in this image. And that's the cool thing about image trace. You guys don't have to trace everything yourselves. It does it for you. And a lot of people, what they do if they have a really rough sketch, it's not clean, then you may have to trace it. But in a lot of cases, all you guys have to do that image trace and you're all good to go. So let me just show you a little bit more about image trace. Now that you guys can see that this just became vector, I can move things around as much as I want because they're all into pieces. It's all vector work at this point. So let me just bring in another type of image. So let's say I have this painting. With black and white, it's a lot easier to do this type of stuff. Okay, so if you guys want to do image trace, it's way easier with a black and white image. However, if you guys have something like this, I'm going to show you a little bit more about image trace. Let me just get rid of all this. All right, so I have my image right here. As you guys can see, it's rasterized. So if I zoom in, you guys can see pixels. All right, now those pixels, when you zoom in, they will kind of stay because you are making those pixels vectors, so they're still gonna be there, but it's just gonna work differently, right? So we're gonna go up here where it says image trace, and I'm gonna click right here, presets, and you guys can choose what you guys want. So if it was like the kitty that I just brought, 3 colors would be perfect. However, this is a painting, so I'm gonna need to choose this very first option. That way it's gonna keep most of the details on the painting, okay? Because it does get rid of some details once it becomes vector. So I'm gonna click right there. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so you guys can see what's happening. I'm gonna press OK. Now, depending how big your picture actually is, this will take some time. All right. Or the more complicated your image is, the more colors it has, more details, the longer it's gonna take in order to do this image trace. Now, the image trace might become actually a little bit too big, and that's also another reason why people just trace it by themselves. However, as you guys could see, you guys could do the image trace and then take out a lot of details yourself or modify this as much as you want since it's vector now. So right now it just did it for us. So if I zoom in, you guys will see that the pixels are different, right? So there's no real pixels, everything's a shape. So if I zoom in a lot, there's no more pixels because everything has become a vector. So right now this is a vectorized image. I can just press expand again. So that's up here, I'm pressing expand. So expanding lets me go ahead and edit things throughout. Okay, because right now everything's grouped and I can't really do anything with it. However, once I expand it, I can edit everything about it. I can edit the colors, I can edit all the shapes, I can edit some of the points that were created, I can edit everything from within that vector image that we just created right now. So right now you guys can see that this is very complicated. So if you guys take an image like this, you guys will see a ton of stuff here that's happening, right? You guys can ungroup this. So Command Shift G. And you may want to press Command Option 7. Okay, that's just in case. And then we're gonna click right here. We can move this out of here. You guys will see there's the white behind, or we can choose another color for it. So right here is the color. So I can go ahead and change it to, maybe I want black. So right now that just became black. So as you guys can see, I can edit the colors, I can edit the shapes, I can make this bigger, the shapes that's covering right here. I can make this go on and block all this. I can move this around, I can select another color once again. There we go. And here we go. Anyways, guys, this doesn't just work with this type of images. It could be a photograph. So here I have a MacBook. I can bring that over. So here's my MacBook. And I can do an image trace on this as well. So it can be a photograph. It doesn't really matter what it is. You guys can also do an image trace right there. Like I told you guys, the bigger the photograph, the different results you guys will see. So right now I just did a quick image trace. You guys can see that I did kind of a logo out of it, a silhouette. So I can just press Command Z. I can go back on it. And let me just press right there. So image trace again. So it depends what you guys pick, how many colors, how much detail you guys want. It all depends. And then you guys can select what makes sense with what you guys want to do. So I already showed you guys high fidelity photo, which will select everything within it and it's gonna look really real. Or we can choose something like I just showed you, which is more a silhouette type of thing. Or we can choose 16 colors, which will also make it kind of a logo type of thing. Or you guys can choose this technical drawing type of thing, which I don't really like because it doesn't do the greatest job. You guys can see right now I took everything out and it just kept this. So like I said, not everything's gonna work. Not all the choices will be the right ones, but you guys can play around with that and see what works, what doesn't with you. And it all depends what you guys want to do. Again, I can just pick on black and white logo. Depending on your image, if you guys have high contrast, that's usually gonna work better. And if you guys have too much black, like in here, it's gonna come out something like this. Or if I choose high fidelity photo, again, that's usually the best one if you guys want to keep all the details, all the colors. Yes, it will simplify things. You might even get rid of some of the details you guys will see on this keyboard. And it all depends on the type of image and how big it is. So Illustrator can actually read everything from it. So right now you guys can see that it's simplified a little bit too much of the keyword. So you may want that, you may not want that. All depends on the type of work you guys are doing. Anyways, that's it for this tutorial. If you guys have any questions, comments, you guys can write them down here in the comments area. And don't forget to subscribe and rate. Thank you.